Welcome back to our groundbreaking TV magazine show, Global Connections. Last week we had a fruitful conversation with Wolwedans, and this week we're going to give you more insight of that conversation which we had with Wolwedans. My name is Elizabeth Mbambi, and here are our Global Connections.
I think looking back, one of the main challenges for us was expectations. As much as there was opportunities to work with the community, dealing with expectations was really a challenge, because when you come in the community of this magnitude, then of course, number one, people expect you to provide jobs. So dealing with expectations was really a huge challenge for us.
I think there were no major challenges. The biggest challenge is that we were behind schedule.
To get the project known in the community.
Acceptance in a short period of time.
The biggest surprise to me this morning when I entered this premises is that I could see the changes that took place. I never thought that something like this could happen at this premises. But it's a total revivement and a total change that one could observe.
Soos hierdie plek was gekry so ou plek, né? Toe probeer ons afbreek, nuwe mure bou, alles, nuwe venster, alles, maar nou hy lyk nou beter. Vir hy dit wat hy ou gekry. Hy lyk nou baie beter.
I think for me, 2023, I'm looking forward to get the ball rolling.
Well, seeing the thing, starting to roll. I mean, ticking off milestones, like it will be a milestone when the washing machines start turning. It will be a milestone when the sewage system starts operating 24/7. Bringing out the water that then can go to the garden. That's something I'm looking very much forward to. I mean, as you know, horticulture is a great passion, and it's, once this greenhouse is coming up, that for me will definitely be the highlight,
I want to see it starting.
What I would really love to see here at Rural Revive is, like they were saying at the opening, I would love to see more people coming to sell their produce and more people getting trained on how to produce for themselves and sell the produce that they are producing for a little bit of income. That's what I really wish to see and hope to see in the coming future.
I wanted to find out who are the partners who contributed towards the success of Wolwedans, or did Wolwedans just do this by themselves? Who were the partners?
I think I've touched on it briefly in the course of our conversation, where from our community and educational side, I've mentioned the NTA, who have been very, very robust and excited about our educational journey. The Social Security Commission's Development Fund has also been an incredible supporting partner. When it comes to our conservation journey, we work very closely with the NamibRand Nature Reserve, who are an entity all unto themselves, with their rangers and the way that they manage the fact that we keep our animals safe, the fact that they do a regular game count to see, what is the impact on our land, and how also they help to keep our guests safe, and how we support them with our levies. From a community perspective, working with the multi-year community, literally working with the regional council, to be able to create our Rural Revive and our Arid Eden projects and create those initiatives, that has also been very, very key. So thank you so much to them. We've got some international partners like Contina, who have been very instrumental in match funding with us and working very closely with us. And yes, there are some individuals who also reach out to us and say, before they would leave Wolwedans, they would say, how can I personally contribute? So at Wolwedans, it's a pity that I wasn't able to mention this activity when you mentioned activities earlier, is the visitors themselves, the people that come and support Wolwedans are inadvertently also supporting the Wolwedans vision through tree planting projects, for example, where they can adopt a tree. Through fairy circle adopting as well. What is a fairy circle? It is a very unique phenomenon that happens in the Namib Desert. If you're flying in the sky, you'll see it quite easily, where these small holes, they're not holes really, they are little gaps where there's no vegetation, and they're scattered all over the desert. Everybody has a theory on how they were created. Nobody can really confirm their theory to be true. It's almost like a mystical occurrence. But we also get visitors to, in a very fun way, we get them to adopt their own fairy circle. All of these funds we used to put back into our community, put back into conservation. And so the people that support Wolwedans are actually those, probably the most important, in whatever way, shape or form. If you visit Wolwedans, you are contributing directly to one of the 5 C's, whether it's conservation, our community, culture, and especially our education, and especially the conservation of the NamibRand Nature Reserve. So yeah, it's difficult to pinpoint one name or pinpoint one person, but there are so many hands holding each other tight to make sure that we can keep this long into perpetuity and create something that is not necessarily going to be there when we are no longer there even, but something that can remain for our people, our children and our children's children.
Coming to one of my favorite questions, what does the future, or how does the future of Namibia look like when it comes to tourism?
I think it's bright. I think that Namibia has an incredibly bright future when it comes to tourism. I know that the future is always supposed to be spoken about as if it's tomorrow or if it's a thing that's coming, but I believe the future is happening right now. One of the biggest scares I think the tourism industry had was the COVID-19 pandemic. And when that happened, perhaps tourism was the hardest hit because ours is a traveling, interactive sector. We cannot do anything unless we are traveling to those destinations or unless we are interacting with those guests and those clients, and unless we are creating some form of touch through our food experiences, our culinary experiences, through our activity experiences, through our guiding experiences, etc. So when COVID-19 happened, I think all of us were very aware, number one, as to the impact that tourism has on the economy. Because a lot of people suffered, a lot of people were impacted, and when we could see that financial gap, we could see what we were capable of losing. That's when I think we all realized just how much we had, just how much our industry meant to us, and just how many people were being supported by it, whether it was and I'm talking about the entire value chain, whether it's our suppliers from a procurement perspective, whether it is our guides who come and give our guests a good experience, whether it is our housekeepers who are making these beds and making these products look wonderful, whether it's our trainees who are studying these courses that are giving them an opportunity or a future to look forward to, whether it's the very people who are running the destinations. Because let's face it, what COVID-19 showed us is that our country is very popular, and a lot of us who work in the industry, we may or may not know that, but it's true, it's a fact. So our future can only grow specifically because as a country we want to remain a clean destination. We want to remain a destination that focuses on the conservation of our most spectacular commodities, our animals. Oh my goodness, our elephant, our desert elephants, our desert lions, Damaraland, the north, the Kavango area, the Caprivi area, down south at the Orange River, city center, our precinct, some of our amazing history that is captured here in our museums. All of it is remarkable and it's unique. It cannot be duplicated elsewhere. Another country can't claim to share the same kind of past or history or even present that we have. Our challenges are unique. The fact that we are able to work with nature in such a unique way, not any other country can speak the same when it comes to their tourism story. So our future is bright, but we must remember that in our case, less is more. More is not more. To overgrow and to almost burden our resources is not the answer. I think to beautify and to uplift what we have and to protect what we have and to remain a boutique and niche destination, that's our future. so that we don't become a mass tourism country that is being downtrodden. I don't want to compare us to other international organizations, but sometimes in these cases, perhaps that's the best way to seek your own answer, is to see, in comparison, some places like Kilimanjaro that were once pristine, places like Everest that were once pristine, have now become, unfortunately, they have run the gauntlet with mass tourism. You can see what those impacts are, whether it's littering, whether it is the way some of the natural environment has been changed or even destroyed. So I think when it comes to Namibia, we should look at those examples and steer far clear from them. Mass tourism is not the answer. We want to remain a pristine, beautiful, accessible country that looks after its animals, looks after its people, and looks after those wild places that make us such a special destination. Yeah.
Mass tourism is not the answer.
It's not the answer.
It's not the answer. So we are okay.
I think we're going to be doing just fine. And the more we share this experience with our trainees, vocational training is perhaps not something that everybody does. I know, for example, when I was experiencing my educational journey, I wasn't really exposed to vocational training as an opportunity or even as a solution. Most of us are driven towards the traditional academic things, but vocational training is also part of our future. It is also part of the way that we are going to grow as a country and as a tourism sector, because through that we are able to pinpoint and create professionals and create passionate individuals who can actually take care of these things going forward. So through our tourism qualifications, our hospitality qualifications, horticulture, and so many other interesting qualifications that are out there, even facility maintenance, one has to ask yourself, who built these places that we go to? Who maintains these facilities that we enjoy so much? So education is a key part of how we grow our sector and how we maintain it, and also formulating the right education. So those people who are creating these qualifications, those who are getting them approved, those who are teaching them, should also play a big role and should be involved in what it is we want our future tourism stakeholders to know.
The fact that Wolwedans is so involved is really amazing, which brings me to my next question. I'm going to say it for interest's sake. Is there perhaps a way that Wolwedans is involved in keeping our tourists safe? Because we every now and then we have complaints, and I know that some viewers, when they watch this show, maybe there's some viewers from outside, they feel like they want to travel and they want to do it maybe through Wolwedans, but then obviously safety comes first. How do we protect our tourists when they come to Namibia?
Okay, so tourism is such a broad, very, very broad industry. It spans the entire planet. The reason I'm starting there is to say any tourist from anywhere should really be able to understand and must, first of all, self-educate, and also understand that any major city, any major destination around the world should actually be viewed as the same destination. So I think any safety precautions that one would take in New York City, Chicago, Sydney, Singapore, anywhere, should always be remembered in the same context as though you were visiting Namibia. Personal safety is important. That means understanding who you have booked with, being able to verify that your agent is legit, that they are registered with the NTB, that they are registered with the right and relevant travel agencies or national tourism bodies of your country or the country that you are traveling to. Understanding that everybody that is going to be supporting your trip, whether it's the people that are transporting you, have also been registered and got the right licenses. This again, you do in any part of the world. You should do it as a safety precaution for oneself. I think money is also very, very important. Who are you paying your money to? How much are you paying? Have you verified that these are the actual amounts that these companies actually truly exist? What is their track record and what is their history? Luckily for us at Wolwedans, we are in the wild. We don't really experience any external risks that come our way. I think the biggest risk that we have are the animals of the night. I must admit, one of the stories that actually really kind of excites me a bit is one of our most beautiful, but also most, the word I'm looking for is, it's very, very alone. It's far away from our other collections. It's called Boulders Camp. And at Boulders Camp, there are a lot of boulders. prickly rocks that just sort of jump out of the ground. It's actually quite spectacular. But did you know that that is also home of the Namibian leopard? Now, it would surprise you that we have a camp out there, but yet we are also aware of how we have built our camp, where we have built our camp. We keep far away from the areas where the leopards and the little baby leopards, generally speaking, like to breed and raise their young. So that would probably be the most prevalent risk to us. But right back to it, we are on a nature reserve. We've got game rangers. We have a whole network of people that look after us and our guests. So luckily for us, we are not a city-based organization, so we don't have those immediate risks that come with city-based problems. Perhaps it's a good thing, maybe even a bad thing, but I think it could be a little bit of both. But the most important part is for international travelers, even travelers who are not from Namibia, let's say they are just local African travelers, should always be self-aware and self-prepared. And of course there are many organizations that can help people to prepare safely for a trip in Namibia. These organizations are out there, their websites are freely available, our information centers are incredibly helpful as well. So is our ground staff at the airports. You can ask these questions, one can get informed simply by clicking on the NTB's website and following up to see what are some of the other travelers' experiences and how can they better prepare. I think that's the best any international traveler can do, no matter where you are traveling.
That's amazing. And I wanted you, sorry, not I wanted you, but do you have any final remarks towards the viewers or anybody who's listening to what you just explained, listening to the interview? Do you have any final remarks?
Well, from my side, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always very good for us to be able to share our story. I'd like to encourage viewers out there, perhaps those of you who are in tourism, have an interest in tourism as a industry or tourism as a future, is to start early. We are accessible everywhere on our social media platforms. We are accessible everywhere online as well with our websites, wolwedans.com, wolwedans.org, aaroneden.org. We are accessible through our Wolwedans Desert Academy.org website as well, and through any email or telephone number that you're welcome to give us a call on. To speak about people, to speak about people's experiences that we have, to speak about people's questions. I think the more we share, the more we ask one another, the more we give information and take information and get involved with each other, the absolute better. It wasn't a while ago, this is definitely prior to COVID-19, we used to have, I think it was an initiative by the recycling people here in Namibia, where a big part of the corporate stakeholders were invited to share their ideas on how we can improve our recycling in the city and in all of the regions where we as tourists or as tourism products live. And I found that those kinds of get-togethers were very, very valuable. It's not always about us working in isolation. The more hands we hold, the more partnerships we create, even if those partnerships don't necessarily involve money, but they could just involve our shared passion and our shared philosophy, we can make bigger impacts. I think when our voices together in the industry are stronger, we can speak with one voice and reach much higher political places and get our information out there and our messages heard about conservation, about protecting our destination. So I encourage anybody who's interested in communicating with us, sharing their ideas, and perhaps even just commenting to do so. So if it's final remarks, I'll say